Verbal agreements in Kansas are generally binding. There are, of course, exceptions to that rule, but it's just fine to make a verbal agreement in Kansas. And if both parties agree and abide by that agreement, then absolutely they're just fine. There's kind of a saying in the legal profession, though, that goes that verbal agreements are worth the paper that they're written on if things go wrong, though. Now, there are a couple of things that you can't do a verbal agreement on in Kansas. One of those is real estate. This is the actual law that controls documents or agreements that need to be documented in writing. It's called the Statute of Frauds. The first thing that pops up under the Statute of Frauds is real estate. Real estate contracts have to be in writing. Also, contracts that a party cannot perform within 1 year need to be in writing as well. If there's an agreement for one person to pay another person's debt, those agreements need to be in writing to be enforceable. And then anytime you are make an agreement involving the sale of goods for $500 or more, they're unenforceable unless they're confirmed in writing. So you can agree to sell a document or a piece of property that's worth more than $500. You can verbally agree, like say for a car, but there will need to be some sort of documentation of that. For example, a bill of sale. So even that's not technically a contract. It's a writing that memorializes the agreement that the parties had to sell the car one to the other. Another thing that can make a verbal agreement enforceable is partial performance by the other party. So let's take, for example, the vehicle transaction. If you agree to sell your car to someone and they give you a deposit on that vehicle and you accept that deposit, and then you decide later you don't want to sell the car to them, even though you don't have a contract for the sale, that deposit that person put down is called partial performance, meaning I gave you a deposit. I agreed to pay $5,000 for the car. I gave you $500. You accepted that. Now you can't renege on that. So partial performance by the opposing party will certainly allow you to enforce a verbal agreement.